They were kissing. It was unexpected, but it felt right. Here's a compelling story that explores the consequences of a single night and how it changes two teenagers' lives forever. The bass thumped through the crowded house, making the walls vibrate with energy. Red and blue lights flickered, casting wild shadows over dancing bodies and drunken laughter. It was the biggest party of the summer, thrown by a senior whose parents were out of town. 17-year-old Noah Carter never planned to attend. He wasn't one for loud crowds, but his best friend dragged him along, promising a night to remember. On the other side of the house, Mia Reynolds, also 17, had just arrived with her friends, excited for one last wild night before the school year began. Neither of them expected to see each other. They had known each other since middle school, but drifted apart in high school. They weren't close anymore, but when their eyes met across the party, something unspoken passed between them. Nostalgia, curiosity, maybe something more. Mia wasn't a heavy drinker, but the party's energy made her reckless. Noah, usually the responsible one, found himself accepting shot after shot. Before they knew it, they were standing on the balcony together, the cool night air brushing against their flushed faces. "I haven't seen you in forever," Mia said, leaning against the railing. "Yeah," Noah chuckled. "We used to talk all the time." Mia smirked. "You had a crush on me in 8th grade. Noah's ears burned. "And you ignored me for 3 months." She laughed. "I was shy." Their conversation flowed easily, the alcohol lowering their inhibitions. One moment they were reminiscing, and the next, they were kissing. It was unexpected, but it felt right. The music, the drinks, the past, the present, it all blurred together. Without thinking, they stumbled into an empty guest room, lips locked, hands searching. The night took over, and neither of them stopped to think. Noah had a fleeting thought, "I don't have protection." Mia hesitated, but then she whispered, "It's fine." And in that moment, reason slipped away. Sunlight filtered through the blinds when Mia woke up. Her head pounded, and memories of last night flooded back. Beside her, Noah was already awake, staring at the ceiling. "Hey," he said softly. "Hey," she replied, sitting up, suddenly feeling self-conscious. Neither of them spoke about what happened at first. Instead, they dressed in silence. But as Mia reached for the door, Noah finally said, "We didn't, use anything." Mia froze. "I know." A tense silence stretched between them. They weren't dating, they hadn't even spoken in months before last night. But now they were tangled in something much bigger than just a one-night mistake. I'll get a test if," Mia started, but she couldn't finish the sentence. Noah ran a hand through his hair. "Let me know. Whatever happens, I won't run." Mia forced a smile, but her stomach twisted in knots. She wasn't ready for this. Neither of them was. A week passed, and the weight of that night hung heavy over them. Mia couldn't shake the fear in her gut. Finally, she bought a pregnancy test. Noah waited outside the pharmacy while she took it. When she came out, her face was unreadable. Mia stood outside the pharmacy, gripping the pregnancy test in her shaky hands. The tiny plus sign on the stick felt like a death sentence. She felt her heartbeat in her throat, her stomach twisting into knots. Noah stood beside her, staring at her face, searching for an answer. When she finally spoke, her voice was barely above a whisper. "It's positive." Noah felt like the ground had been ripped from under him. His breath hitched and his hands turned clammy, but somehow he managed to force a small nod. "I don't regret it," he said, trying to keep his voice steady, "but I wish we had been smarter." Mia exhaled a shaky breath, trying to process everything. "What do we do now?" Noah hesitated. The right answer was, "We figure it out together." But in that moment, panic settled deep in his bones. He wasn't ready to be a father. He was just a kid. For the rest of the day, he pretended to be okay. He held her hand, told her they would work through it, and even promised to talk to his parents about it. But inside, he was screaming. This can't be happening. 3 days later, Mia texted Noah. No response. She called him, straight to voicemail. By the fifth call, she knew. Noah was gone. He had vanished. No messages, no explanations. His best friend Jason told her that Noah had left town to stay with his uncle in another city. Didn't tell you? Jason asked, looking uncomfortable. Mia's blood turned cold. No, he didn't. The truth hit her like a truck. He ran. He left me to deal with this alone. Anger and heartbreak tangled inside her chest. She wasn't just scared anymore, she was furious. Noah sat on the couch at his uncle's apartment, staring blankly at the ceiling. His phone buzzed on the table, but he ignored it. He knew who it was, Mia. He couldn't face her, couldn't face what they had done. I can't have a baby. I don't love her. This wasn't supposed to happen. He had convinced himself that running was the only option. He told himself Mia would figure something out. Maybe her parents would step in. Maybe she'd handle it on her own. But deep down, he knew he was just being a coward. Days turned into weeks. Noah was gone and Mia was left picking up the pieces. She had no idea what to do. She couldn't stop crying, couldn't focus on school, couldn't sleep without nightmares of her future slipping through her fingers. Her parents found out. They were disappointed, but they didn't abandon her like Noah did. And that's when she made a decision. She was going to keep the baby, not for Noah, not for anyone else, but for herself. Months passed. Mia's belly grew, and so did her determination. She found support in places she never expected. Her parents, her teachers, even old friends she hadn't spoken to in years. Noah, on the other hand, was drowning in regret. One day he saw a picture online. Mia, 6 months pregnant, smiling at her baby shower. Something inside him cracked. He had spent months running, pretending like this wasn't real, but it was. He had a child coming into this world, and he had abandoned them before they even had a chance to be born. I made a mistake, but was it too late to fix it? Noah stared at the picture on his phone. Mia, glowing with happiness despite everything, surrounded by people who actually stayed. For months, he had convinced himself he had made the right choice, that he wasn't ready, that leaving was better than ruining 2 lives. But the longer he stared at that photo, the more he realized the truth. He had ruined lives anyway. He had run like a coward. And now he had to decide if he was brave enough to face the consequences. Mia sat in the back of a small cafe, rubbing her belly absent-mindedly. Her life had become a whirlwind of doctor appointments, uncomfortable stares at school, and whispers behind her back. But through it all, she held her head high. She didn't need Noah. She had learned to be strong without him. So when the bell above the cafe door jingled, and she looked up, the last person she expected to see was Noah Carter. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then Noah slowly walked toward her, hands shoved in his pockets, eyes filled with something she couldn't quite place. Guilt? Regret? Mia's jaw tightened. What do you want? Noah swallowed hard. To talk? Mia crossed her arms over her stomach, glaring. Oh, now you want to talk? After you ran away and left me to deal with this alone? I know, he admitted, voice barely above a whisper. I messed up. I was scared and I ran. But I regret it, Mia. Every single day. She let out a bitter laugh. And what, you think you can just come back and fix everything? Noah hesitated. I don't know, but I want to try. Mia stared at him for a long moment, her heart pounding. A part of her wanted to scream at him, to tell him he had no right to show up now, months later, after abandoning her when she needed him the most. But another part of her, smaller, quieter, whispered that maybe, just maybe, he deserved a chance to make things right. She sighed, shaking her head. Noah, you don't get to just waltz back in and act like nothing happened. I don't expect that, he said quickly. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I want to be there for the baby. I don't want to keep running. Mia studied his face. He looked different. Not just older, but tired. Like he had been carrying the weight of his mistakes for too long. Prove it, she finally said. Noah nodded. I will. Noah spent the next few weeks proving himself, but it wasn't easy. Mia was hesitant to let him back into her life, and she had every right to be. He had missed doctor's appointments, the first time the baby kicked, all the late-night breakdowns where she had cried herself to sleep. but he kept showing up. He went with her to her next ultrasound appointment, sitting silently as the doctor pointed out their baby's tiny heartbeat. He helped her carry groceries, listened when she talked about her fears, even started working part-time to save up money. Still, Mia wasn't sure if she could fully trust him again, and deep down, she wondered, was he doing this because he really wanted to be a father, or was it just guilt? One evening, as Mia and Noah sat in her living room discussing baby names, she finally asked him the question that had been haunting her. "Noah, do you actually want this?" Her voice was quiet but firm. "Or are you just here because you feel bad?" Noah was silent for a long time. Then, finally, he looked her in the eye. "I don't know." Mia's heart clenched. "I want to do the right thing," he continued, "but I don't know if I'm ready, and that scares me." Mia swallowed hard. "Then maybe you shouldn't be here." Noah's breath hitched. "Mia, I can't do this again," she whispered, tears stinging her eyes. "I can't let myself believe you'll stay, only for you to leave when things get too real." Noah's hands curled into fists. "I won't leave this time." Mia shook her head. "You already did once, and I can't take that chance again." Mia gave him one final look before standing up, walking to the door and opening it. Noah's chest tightened. "You're kicking me out?" "I'm protecting myself," she said softly. "And my baby." Noah hesitated. He wanted to fight, to argue, to make her believe he could change. But deep down he knew she was right. So, with a heavy heart, he walked out. As the door clicked shut behind him, Noah realized something painful. Wanting to do the right thing wasn't enough. He had to decide if he was truly ready to be a father, and until he could answer that, he had no place in Mia's life. Mia expected to feel relief after shutting Noah out, but instead her chest felt hollow. She had spent so much time worrying about whether he would leave again. Now that she had made the decision for him, why did it still hurt? But she had a baby to think about. She couldn't waste time hoping Noah would magically become the man she needed him to be. So she did what she had been doing all along. She moved forward. She focused on school, on her health, on preparing for her baby's arrival. She attended parenting classes, got advice from her mom, and even found part-time work at a local bookstore to save up for baby supplies. The more time passed, the more she realized something. She could do this alone. She didn't need Noah. She had learned to be strong without him. "I can't take that chance again. I'm protecting myself and my baby." He had thought showing up would be enough to fix things. But Mia was right. He was still unsure, still scared, and until he figured that out, he had no place in her life. For weeks he drifted. He tried to throw himself into work, but the guilt was suffocating. He had created life, and yet, he had done nothing to deserve being a father. One night, sitting alone in his apartment, he pulled out his phone, and he did something he should have done a long time ago. He called his dad. Noah's father had never been the emotional type, but he listened as Noah finally admitted everything. The fear, the regret, the feeling of being unworthy. "I don't even know if I love her," Noah confessed. "I don't know if I can be a dad. What if I screw this up?" His dad was silent for a long moment. Then he sighed. "Noah, nobody is ever ready to be a parent. Not really. You figure it out as you go." Noah frowned. "But what if you fail?" His dad cut him off. "Then you get back up and try again. That's what being a dad is." Noah swallowed hard. "Look, son," his father continued, voice softer now. "You don't have to love Mia to be a good father. But you have to show up. Not just once, not just when it's easy, every single day." And that's when it hit him. Showing up wasn't a one-time thing. It was a lifetime choice. For the next month, Noah worked harder than he ever had before. He got a steady job, saved money, and started reading every parenting book he could find. He even reached out to Mia's mom, asking how Mia was doing, not because he expected anything in return, but because he wanted to be involved. At first, Mia didn't believe it. She had heard Noah's promises before, but then he did something different. He didn't pressure her. He didn't beg for another chance. He just kept showing up. One day, as Mia sat in the park, struggling to carry a heavy grocery bag, Noah appeared beside her and took it without a word. She turned to him, skeptical. "You think this erases everything?" Noah shook his head. No, but I'm still gonna be here. Mia studied him for a long moment. He looked different, stronger, more sure of himself. For the first time, she allowed herself to wonder, maybe he really was changing. Months passed, and then the moment came. Mia went into labor in the middle of the night. Her mom rushed her to the hospital. She hadn't planned on calling Noah. She still wasn't sure where they stood, but her mother had other ideas. Noah arrived at the hospital, breathless, face pale, and for the first time Mia saw fear in his eyes. Not the fear of running away, but the fear of wanting to do everything right. Mia was exhausted, in pain and emotional, but when she looked at him she simply said, "You're here." And Noah, gripping her hand, nodded. "I told you, I'm not leaving again." Hours later, their daughter was born. When the nurse placed the tiny baby in Mia's arms, she felt a love so powerful, it stole her breath away. And when she looked up and saw Noah staring at their child, tears in his eyes, she knew he had finally become the man she needed him to be. Noah and Mia never became a couple again. They didn't force something that wasn't meant to be, but they became partners in raising their daughter. It wasn't easy. There were fights, disagreements, moments where Mia wanted to scream at him all over again, but there were also late-night feedings where they laughed over how exhausted they were. Days where Noah held their daughter and promised to always protect her. They weren't perfect, but they were parents, and no matter what, they would always show up. Because in the end, love wasn't just about romance. Sometimes, love was choosing to be there every single day, no matter what. And that was exactly what they did. This story highlights how people can grow even after making mistakes.